All right, so episode 2 aired last night and I just watched it and it was so much harder. It's like 100% harder than episode 1. But I think I got a few right, and the person that was, demasked, I got right too. So whoop whoop for me. So I have my list here again. So I'm just going to go through it and let you guys know, who I think it is. The first was the rabbit, which was I know I got this one 100% right. Okay, so here's the clues. He said something. Uh, he said he performed in a group. He didn't use the word group, but he used words that made you figure out he was in a group. He said he'd been performing from a young age and blah blah blah, growing up. So that clue leads me to think he was in a boy band because it's a guy and he was in a group. So, and then here's what made me definitely know who it was. He said, blah, 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 it's gonna be me. Which, if you guys grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s, you know that was an NSYNC song. And the body type, the voice made me go with Joey Fatone. Here's why. I know Justin's voice. The whole world knows Justin's voice. JC voice. I know his voice. He was my favorite, so of course I know his voice. What's the other one? The gay one. I forgot his name. Oh my god. But his voice is higher and more daintier than the performer. So it really can only be Joey. Based on the voice, it can only be Joey or Chris. Now, on the height, it's not Chris because Chris is shorter than Joey, and then the thickness of him definitely Joey Fatone. So that one I'm about 99.9% sure it could still be Chris because you can't really judge off of body height that much watching on TV, but it's Joey Fatone. So that one I'm quite pretty sure on. So next is the alien. Okay, the voice was very high. They said they come from a famous family. And based on the small frame, and she mentioned something about control, so that leads me to think it's someone from the Jacksons. And the only person that's really out like that from the Jacksons is Latoya. And based off of her frame and her voice, I'm definitely gonna go with Latoya Jackson. That's the one that's always on all these reality shows and all of that. And the frame fits and everything. So that one, I'm pretty sure I got that one right also, but it could still be anybody. Yeah, and one of the panelists mentioned that it could be a Kardashian because she said she had a lot of sisters. And the only Kardashian it really could be based on the frame alone is Kendall, and the other one. Is it Courtney? No, Courtney's the one that just had the baby. The other one that had the kids with Scott. But the one that had the kids with Scott, her bottom is bigger than the performer, and Kendall is a lot taller. So it's definitely not a Kardashian. Okay, so the Raven. Now that one was hard. I have no clue who that is. Like I have a guess, but I'm about 0% sure on my guess. So she mentioned always listening to everybody's problem, or listen to everybody talk. So it leads me to think a talk show host. And one of the panelists asked if she ever hosted a talk show, and she said yes. So definitely. She recently lost a loved one. I don't know who it is. Like I don't really keep track. And based off her frame, she had a very blocky frame, a very square frame, so you couldn't really tell it was a woman until she started singing. So based on that, like I have no idea. Someone said Sally Jessy Raphael, and the frame fits, but I said Jenny Jones because that's really the only person I can think of, because it's an older person, a very light voice, and the shape, I don't really remember Jenny Jones' shape, but that's the only person I can think of. Other than that, I have no clue. Now the pineapple got demasked, and I actually got this right. But when I was listening to the clues, you could hear a slight Hawaiian accent, or some kind of Samoan type thing going on. And he said up in smoke, and on the car it had pipe dreams on it. So that is someone that's famous for like being a stoner. And at first I was, kind of lost. And then Jenny said, "Oh, could it be Cheech or Chong?" So I was like, "Oh yeah, it's Chong because the accent and everything. You might know him from that '70s show as the stoner guy, and him and Cheech were very, very famous. Well, he's more famous for being a stoner. He smoked a lot. He smoked a lot of weed. So that fell on Chong, and it actually was him. So that one I got right. Now the poodle is hard. When they were talking in the clue portion, her voice sounded higher than normal, even though it was distorted. So right off from that, I thought it was Christian Chenoweth. They said a famous family of musicians, but then they did something other than music. So that I'm not really sure. Someone guessed that they might be gay. I don't know. From the 415, and a comedian. I really don't know who this could be. And from the singing voice, I know it wasn't Kristen because she sings in a high voice too most of the times. I mean, it could still be her, but I don't think she's gay. And the body was a little bit thicker than what Kristen was. So that one, I have no freaking clue who that is. Now, the last one is the bee. And when she was talking, I kind of heard a slight black scent, which is, the little slang, not slang, but you can kind of know when it's a black person talking than if it's a Caucasian. It definitely didn't seem like an older person, like, she stated, because she said she started being famous in the 50s, which means she's either late 60s or early 70s at least. And like I'm lost on that one. She mentioned something about being a queen bee and working hard, so maybe so whoever sing working hard for the money, I don't know who that is, but this person had an amazing voice. Like that one, I don't know who it is because I'm not really that familiar with the older singers like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like the poodle and the bee and the raven. I have no freaking idea who they are. But alien and a rabbit, I got those. Pineapple, I got that. So I guess we'll wait till next week and see who's who.